You're bruised and bleeding. Your arm is hanging by a few strands of meat. What are you going to do? Will you die like a dog? Or on your feet like a man?
What does it matter, vampire?
You think a cut on my arm will stop me? Now shut up and come at me! Come on, fight me! Hurry! Hurry!
Excellent. Humans are such fascinating creatures.
Living in a nightmare and I can't seem to get away. Living in a nightmare that you create to kill the pain. Living in a nightmare and I can't seem to get away. Living in a nightmare that you create to kill. Living in a nightmare. I think of the fame and I think of the gain. I'ma play the same game that I've always played. It's a roll of the dice and when I think twice I shouldn't have lived. Living in a nightmare. I think of the fame and I think of the gain. I'ma play the same game that I've always played. It's a roll of the dice and when I think twice I shouldn't have lived. She living in a nightmare. I think of the fame and I think of the gain. I'ma play the same game that I've always played. It's a roll of the dice and when I think twice I shouldn't have let you in.
Not much is known about Alucard, but will be given the name Alucard by Arthur Hellsing at some point. Alucard would be in prison for 20 years. After Arthur's death, Integra would inherit the family headship. However, her uncle Richard would be jealous of this and would attempt to kill her. Despite being shot in the shoulder, her blood was spilled onto Alucard, which will rejuvenate his decaying corpse, and it will kill Integra's pursuers, where Alucard would become Integra's servant. On one job, Alucard would be assigned to kill a priest, but will have a cop, Sarah's Victoria, as a hostage. Seeing no other choice, Alucard would shoot them both, but turn Sarah into a vampire, to which she would accept. On mission in Badrick, after disposing of some ghouls, Alucard and Sarah would be attacked by Father Alexander Anderson, who would injure Sarah and seemingly kill Alucard. But Alucard will regenerate seconds later, where the two would briefly fight, but seeing he's outmatched, Anderson would flee. Later, Hellsing HQ would be attacked by Luke Valentine and Janet Valentine. It wouldn't take long for Luke to track down Alucard in the basement where the two fight, but Alucard would easily overpower Luke and would consume him. The next morning, Alucard would be given a search and destroy mission, traveling to Rio by nightfall after massacring gunmen. He would battle Alhambra, where he would severely injure him and would drink his blood to gain his memories. After returning to London, a boy named Schroeder would appear, where he would show a live feed of the Major, who planned to use a newly bred vampire army to avenge the fallen from World War II. With the help of Walter, Alucard would infiltrate a ship where he would make quick work of Rip Van Winkle. Returning back to London, Alucard would be given orders to dispose of any enemies to Hellsing, where he would have a final bout with Alexander Anderson. And after a long, drawn-out fight, despite being severely injured, Anderson will use Helena's nail. Despite Alucard's protests, Anderson will stab himself with the nail. After a drawn-out fight, Alucard would defeat Anderson. Alucard wouldn't be given much time to mourn due to being interrupted by Walter. The two battled while Ceres and Integra would storm Deus Ex Machina. And after a drawn-out fight, Alucard will absorb the blood of the deceased, but unbeknownst to him, Schroeder had committed suicide, and due to containing Schroeder, Alucard couldn't stay in phase with the rest of reality and would disappear. However, this wouldn't be his end. 30 years later, Alucard will return, where he will continue to serve as Integra's servant. Well, what's up? Went here with another showcase. This time, I'll be going over Hellsing Alucard. Now, my resources are again fairly simple. I'll mainly be sticking to the manga, but I will be taking elements from the anime as long as it's consistent with the manga. Right, with that said, not much to go over. Let's start by breaking Alucard down physically. Due to being a vampire, Alucard has lived for several hundred years, staying at 6'3" with a slim build. In terms of strength, Alucard is very strong. Being able to break bones with a single kick, he can rip a human part with his bare hands, and can punch through lesser vampires and undead. He broke the restraints on a straitjacket, and scales above Sarah's, who can beat down and tear apart undead with bare hands, and managed to do this when weaker, and impaled Rip Van Winkle with her own rifle, and can tear apart Anderson's vines, and overpowered Walter, though Walter at the time was reverted to a young boy. Speed-wise, Alucard is very fast. He should be comparable to Walter, who, as a young boy, can react to machine gun fire, and can dodge gunfire as an older man, as well speed blitz several gunmen at once. But Alucard does have showings of his own. He managed to match Walter, who is capable of reacting to machine gun fire as I just mentioned. He blocked gunfire after it has been fired. He also speed blitzed gun wielding opponents not once, and can draw his gun just as Luke Valentine reached him, who can move at such high speeds that it appears as a blur. As far as durability is concerned, Alucard is insanely durable. He has been shot in the head twice. He's been riddled with bullets many times. He's been stabbed dozens of times by Alexander Anderson, by blades that were soaked in holy water, and simply regenerated afterwards. He's taken explosive rounds by Rip Van Winkle, which can destroy large helicopters. He's been cut apart by Walter, not once, but several times. It doesn't matter if he shoots this man in the head, decapitate him, or even destroy his body. Anything that doesn't seal him away, he will regenerate from. Alucard carries a total of 4 weapons. The main pair of weapons that he carries on him are a pair of M1911 handguns, which has an effective firing range of 50 meters and carries a total of 7 rounds and fires 45 ACP rounds. However, his second gun will be modified by Walter, but holds only 6 rounds and fires explosive rounds to better efficiently dispose of the undead. When in his Dracula form, he uses a broadsword. Due to being a vampire, Alucard has an insane regeneration, being able to revive him after being decapitated. However, injuries like these, he'll have to sacrifice a life in order to resurrect himself. But lesser injuries, he can heal from quickly, such as being riddled with bullets, having his arm cut off by Alexander Anderson, or simply being shot in the head. He can phase through solid objects, such as walls. He can drink blood, gaining a person's memory, soul, and form. He can shapeshift, being able to turn into a swarm of bats and a mist. Speaking of which, he can summon a hellhound, which can change its size. He can summon all of the thousands of victims that he has consumed over the years as undead. After consuming Schrodinger's blood, he gained his abilities, which has been described as being anywhere but nowhere. He can teleport rapidly. He can manipulate the minds of others. But this is just tip of the iceberg. Due to Alucard's immense strength, he's limited by the control art restriction system, with level 0 being his strongest. He can use shadows to attack, as well levitate. And finally, Alucard has the ability to use telekinesis. He can move a battleship, as well as control an entire sea of blood. It's also worth mentioning that unlike vampires like Walter and Sarah's, Alucard is the only vampire in the Hellsing organization to be able to withstand sunlight. Due to his years of experience in the Hellsing organization, Alucard will be their best agent. Alucard's main approach when facing lesser opponents is to shoot them down. However, when facing someone who can challenge him, Alucard takes a probing offense to test the waters before fatally injuring his opponents, using his various abilities to gain the upper hand. Despite all of that, as a tactician, Alucard is a bit unhinged. He's willing to take damage to get a feel of his opponent's fighting style, but with his 100 years of experience, Alucard is no stranger when it comes to disposing of the undead or trained combatants. Alucard is certainly a powerful character even in the Verse series, and is quite frankly one of the hardest hitters due to his hacks abilities and quite frankly broken regen. Even in base, Alucard is simply 2 hacks. He solos Resident Evil verse low difficulty. No one in the verse can even begin to challenge Alucard, let alone even deal damage to even hurt him. The same applies to Levi. No one in Attack on Titan can even hurt him. He annihilates Levi and takes out several Titans as a snack. Scar could theoretically hurt Alucard due to his alchemy, ignoring durability, but Alucard's regen is too much for Scar to handle. Winter Soldier just doesn't have the firepower to hurt Alucard. Now, Greed certainly has an advantage due to his ultimate shield, but his level 0 would get around this. If not, Schrodinger's power would spell the end for him. Delsin certainly has the firepower to challenge Alucard, but his regen and level 0 on top of his million of lives is too much for the conduit. Not to mention, the moment Alucard gets his hands on him is GG. The same applies for Good Cole. He may be a better strategist, but Alucard has too many odds in his favor. Now, James Heller and Alex Mercer is an odd one. Both are better skilled in close range due to their lifetime of military experience and are master tacticians in close range. However, it depends if he thinks that the Black White virus is stronger than Alucard, or if he thinks that the thousands, if not millions of lives that Alucard has obtained over the years is too strong that Alucard would be able to counter a consumption attempt by Mercer or James. But I do think that Alucard would be able to take it mid difficulty. And finally, for Jason Todd, Jason would be able to challenge the No Life King. However, Jason may have better gear, but Alucard at the same time has better hacks. And if at any point Alucard breaks out Schrodinger's powers, it's an instant GG. Alucard will be everywhere and anywhere, which Jason has no counter to. However, the All Blades will still be a factor, but Jason will have to break them out right away. And considering they can hurt Superman level threats, they will be able to kill Alucard with no difficulty. But honestly, it depends on who pulls the trigger first. But with that said, despite Jason being a battle that could go either way, Alucard nonetheless is the second best character I've used so far in the Verse series. And that'll do for this showcase. Let me know if you think that Alucard should bring higher, or if you think that his current position suits him. And with that said, be sure to check out the fellow content creators, Ray932, 3 Topics Gamer, King Cameron, and Spider Dante. As well, be sure to check me out on Twitter if you care about that. Links will all be in the description. And with that said, I'll see y'all next time.